together like this. You're right. That's how it starts.
My women role models, I have to say my mom, of course, because I think a lot of us out there, look at our mothers for inspiration, and they taught us so much growing up. And really, my mom is so super strong, and she went through so much to give me and my sisters, grew up with all girls, she had us, even though we were in a rural area, she exposed us to the arts. Constantly. We'd go to the ballet, we would go to the symphony, we would go to plays, and she played all sorts of different types of music for us in a city or a situation where I don't think most people were exposed to things like that. And I think that really shaped me and gave me this sort of ability to branch out and reach out for creativity. And I think that learning so much, I don't dance. Well, I do, but I don't think people want to see it. And I don't do sculpture or things like that, but I appreciate it. And I think all of those different kinds of fine arts really lend to, creation in a different. So I think being a well-rounded artist is so super important, and she did that. Lacey Sturm, she's a big vocal role model for me. Little tiny things, sings her guts out. And she, once again, grew from these sort of terrible circumstances, and she used music to sort of put her ahead of that. And she never has sold herself as sort of this sex object, or never marketed herself as being a chick in front of a band. She always was out there screaming and singing and giving her emotional values to things, and I think that's always what intrigued me so much about her, and what gave her sort of a powerful female role model to me, particularly, and her voice is fabulous. My favorite band, that is impossible to answer. I'll give 5 because I don't think I can answer it. As a singer, of course, I'm super partial to vocalists. So the band from Australia, Carnival, spelled Karnivool, if anyone out there doesn't know it. Absolutely amazing band. Tool, Flyleaf, Protest the Hero, amazing vocals. You can't pass that up. It's completely powerful. And then I have one more. This is the Decemberists, if I want to go for a different genre. Totally chill, amazing story writing and storytelling, and the lyrics are amazing. The soundscape is really amazing too. I first got involved in the music scene. I'd always been a musician forever, classically, trained, did the whole orchestra, choir, private lessons, piano, all of that. All the way through college, I sang opera, and we always put bands together. I did a little jazz thing when I was in high school, and when I came to college, I wanted to do sort of a singer-songwriter thing, and my experiences with that and sort of networking, and it really is who you know, sort of snowballed, and it became one band that led to another band that led to another, and making connections with really amazing people and people that I trust and now love as my music family got me to where I am now. So really, when it comes to that, that's just going out there and doing it, and just keep working and keep trying, and the more you work, the more opportunities that'll be placed in front of you. My role in Cold Kingdom, I'm the singer, of course. I also have so many other roles too. For, a while I did our social media and marketing. I'm passionate about that. And then things got crazy busy, so Chris is taking care of that now. I do a lot of the artwork for our band, so the t-shirt designs and the album artwork that we see. I also work our merch table. I think it's important that everybody has a role. And every role, of course, is important. I mean, if we didn't have merchandise to sell or no one to sell it, we wouldn't make money while we were on the road, and we wouldn't have the option or ability to be able to go out there and feed ourselves or pay for gas. So merch is enormously important for that and for the design of it. And I'm proud that I get to draw those things and sort of color the sort of the mood of the album and have images to go with that. I'm really lucky that I get to do that. And then, okay, so this next question, I'm so happy that it's being asked because I don't think it's getting asked enough. And I wish it didn't have to get asked. You know, Joss Whedon, the director, once said he was at a press junket or something, and a reporter asked him why he kept writing these strong female lead characters, and his reaction was, well, because people keep asking me that question. You know, the fact that it even has to get asked is just so sad, but I'm happy it's being brought up. So body image, Photoshop, sexism in the media, especially in this industry, in this rock and roll industry, you know, there are so many female-fronted bands out there that they use that as a marketing tool. They use that, and sure, there's power behind that. That's not something that I choose to do. Right. You know, there are women out there, I mean, it's their body, they can do what they will with it. But I'm always very proud of the fact that I have people listen to the music and listen to what we're doing out there, you know, throwing down, listening to the lyrics, listening to the content of things, is more important to me than the image of things, you know, being this brightly, oh gosh, how do I say it without sounding totally rude? You know what I mean? Like, it's not that, it's false, that false image of being out there. And I don't care who you are, you know, no one in their right mind as a little kid grows up and says, oh, I want to be, you know, sold as a sexual image. No one in their right mind says, oh, I dream of going up on stage and showing all of my skin so that no one pays attention to what I'm saying. I think it's a great tool to get people to pay attention, to listen to what you're saying. Unfortunately, I don't think that happens as often as people like to think. So yeah, I want to be heard for what I'm saying and not for what's going on. But then sadly enough, I mean, I can turn that around and say, yeah, I've been photoshopped in photos, and I can look at a picture and be really brought down about what I look like. And the beautiful thing is that the people in my band and the people that are surrounding me, you know, we're all girls. Girls are self-conscious about things, and it's sad that we are, but it's a reality of it. But I'm supported in the fact that I'm saying I'm never going to be unhealthy. I'm never going to go out there dressed like any other way that, you know, I wouldn't want to be dressed that way. So it's my decision. And at the end of the day, I'm very, very proud of it. I just wish that, you know, that sexism and gender inequality was turned around a little bit more. Because it's a female-fronted band. What kind of band are you? You're a female-fronted band. You know, we've been put on bills with bands that are nowhere near our genre, and we're thinking, well, how did we get billed with this other band? Why are we playing this show? This is strange. And we realize it's because it's all female-fronted bands. They don't even care what the music is going on. And so learning to get beyond that and gaining the industry's respect is more difficult as a female-fronted band, hands down. On the other side of that, you stand out a little bit more. And so I'm grateful for that. The work you have to put in is harder in the end, but you do hold attention. I mean, we've had people say that female-fronted bands are a dime and a dozen. You know, take them or leave them, they're all the same. And you're going to hear it constantly, and you just have to kind of get beyond the shtick and get up there and throw down and show them what you got so that they can put their feet in their mouths, you know? We practice once a week. for several hours. I mean, it depends on what we are doing or what we're rehearsing for. If we've got, shows coming up every weekend, that's sort of a rehearsal in itself. We get to run through the set, a couple times for that. But typically it's once a week, and that's with the full band. I rehearse every day, vocally, running through warm-ups. I am an educator, so I have to talk all day, so using my voice can be enormously straining. So if I have the ability to, in the shower in the morning or driving to work, do a little bit of a vocal warm-up, a light warm-up, a lot of humming and lip buzzing and things just to get my voice ready just to be speaking. The way that my vocal mechanism works is my speaking voice is more harmful than my singing voice, actually. So if I sang all day, I'd be okay. So getting warmed up properly, and then of course just singing. I have all of the tracks of our songs that we're working on, that we're demoing, that we're writing. I've got all of those tracks in my car. I find the car to be, who doesn't love singing in their car? But I will set that up, and I do a lot of singing in my car, which probably isn't best for my posture or anything like that. My voice teacher would kill me if she knew that was happening, but that's when I'm rehearsing a lot in the car. Being on the road is awesome. I wouldn't give it up for anything. I mean, there's these moments when we'll just be driving down the road, you look out the window and you're in Nebraska and there's tumbleweeds rolling and, endless beauty outside of, and it's really those moments you find time to be grateful for the opportunity that you are out on the road, and so many people wish that they were doing that and you get to be doing it. It gets smelly. You don't get to shower. Dry shampoo is completely my friend. It gets stinky, and I'm in a van with a whole bunch of boys who are doing a whole bunch of very gross boy things, and you learn to love it, and you learn to eat gas station food and sleep in places that you never thought you would sleep in, but at the end of the day you're out there doing what you love, and there's nothing better than that. Do we argue? Yes. We are a family, and just like most families, we have arguments, but at the end of the day, this isn't a passive relationship where, we're not going to be friends anymore. There is no option for that. We argue, we fight, it can be bad, it can be a small thing, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we're all together, the five of us, and there's nothing that can get in the way with that. So we've learned to let bygones be bygones, and we move on. Guys in the band never treat me differently unless I tell them to. I think they're enormously respectful of the needs that sometimes women need to have. Like, I have to pee more often than they do, so if we're driving, I get more bathroom stops. They're also very nice to me if we're staying in a place and there's only one bedroom. Typically, they'll give me the bedroom, so I have a place to change by myself, or I have a place to sort of sleep. A lot of that is because I can't sleep with noises, and Evan is a horrible snorer, so they let me be in the quiet. But so if anything, it's to my benefit that they treat me differently. They're a great group of guys, and I treated differently by other people. Like I was saying before, you have that immediate expectation by agencies or the media or anything that it's just a female-fronted band, and you get chunked in with these other singers, or you're compared to people that sound nothing like you, but because you're both women, it's immediately assumed that you sound identical. So that's a difficult thing to get over. You get a lot of, at shows, venue owners or just dudes in general coming up and, you know, saying sweetheart or hey honey, what can I get for you, or oh hey darling, you know, it's never out of rudeness, but it's always something that makes you kind of go, ooh, I'm not your sweetheart. But you learn to just smile because there's nothing that you can do about it, and you just move on. I'm never going to be completely upset, but there have been moments, of course, when guys come up to the merch table and they think they can get away with absolutely anything, you know. They can say inappropriate things. They can say things that maybe they are able to get away with unfortunately, the women in their lives. I don't know where it comes from, but it's inappropriate, and I absolutely put my foot down about it. People have said on social media that maybe that's not too terribly nice of me. Generally, these are things and statements written by the people that I shot down. You know, I didn't give a guy a phone number once, and it becomes this big thing. But it is about respect, and we're all human beings here. So man, woman, or child, be nice to the people around you, and I'll be nice back, you know? That goes back to the social media thing too. That question wasn't asked, but I'll mention it because the whole treated differently thing. I do get targeted a lot in social media. You know, the B word is thrown around quite frequently, and I think it's because I am just a recognizable member of the band. I'm an easy target, and it does get weighing and heavy at times, but you just got to realize that, you know, there are keyboard cowboys out there everywhere, and it doesn't mean anything. You know, it happens. You just got to brush it off and go out there and do your job and be as awesome as you possibly can be, and don't let people bother you. And these are things I need to remind myself of, you know. It's not easy for me to say that either, but I've definitely had to give myself a couple pep talks about that. The last question, the music education question, so important. I am an educator. I teach classical method piano, as well as a couple of voice lessons and things. I do have a degree in music performance. I took music lessons my entire life, several kinds of instruments. I think it's made me the musician that I am today, is the depth of knowledge that I have, the skill levels that I have, and most importantly, the ability to know what it's like to practice and to rehearse and to work. You know, those hours in practice rooms that you spent getting ready for competition, or, you know, solo and ensemble, or, you know, whatever things that you guys are prepping for. The determination that it took to get through all of those things and to work hard, I think was so important, and it taught me how to work in a band setting, to be determined. There's a lot of bands out there that are talented, but they just don't know how to work it, and they don't know how to go for it. And I think that being through a regimented lesson process and being a musician and being educated in that manner really taught me how to work my buns off for it. And as a vocalist, it taught me how to use my voice and not kill out. I can, you know, I've had to unfortunately sing 6 hours total in one day. We did 12 hours, so we did like hour on, hour off, hour on, hour off, which is even worse for your voice, to stop and start and stop and start. And I made it. And I attribute that completely to being taught by wonderful people who know so much about the vocal instrument. Singers out there should study the voice as a, you know, a physiological, you know, it's part of your body. Learn about it. Learn what makes it, you know, not feel good. Learn what makes it feel good. It's all physiology, and so much of it is diet, and that's important to teach yourselves. And so much of songwriting was taught to me in music education. You know, you learn basic song structure. Do I stick to it all the time? Heck no. You know, that's what would be enormously boring, but I know the rules before I break them. So it's not just a willy-nilly thing, and I think that's really important too, and it's able to give some sort of intelligence behind what we're doing. And I'm so thankful that I was blessed to have a great music education in my upbringing, and I'm constantly out there looking for the next thing and researching more, because it fuels me to go beyond, or to write new things, and to help me keep growing as a musician. So it's enormously important, and I'm so happy that the girls at this camp get the opportunity to do that. Learn how to rock, be together, be awesome. It's pretty great.